Okay. So let's just have a little bit of space here. Right. So, Hong Kong in December. So the first, and hi everyone. So I'm just sort of preparing to pack everything up to go to India for 6 weeks. So posts will be very interesting from India. Hong Kong in December. So the 1st and 2nd of December, I'm going to be teaching Flourishing. So obviously I'm going to use this angular confinement principle that I've come up with, which teaches you how to geometrically construct a flourish. So those of you who struggle with flourishing, this is an absolutely super class. So we're using my tangential touching, and we are going from here to there, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. And so by using this geometric principle that I looked at in the copper plate script manual, as well as rhythmically creating a structure, it helps you to build the framework for your flourish so that you know where to place the strokes. You know, sometimes you look at a flourish, or you're in the middle of writing a word and you're adding a flourish and you're writing the flourish and you're thinking, oh, I'm screwing this up, or this is going to look terrible. And then you finish and it looks terrible. But you don't know why the flourish doesn't work. So this class looks at how to construct the flourish, why it works the way it works, you know, how the geometric proportioning works. And I've had a lot of people say to me, you know, Wendy, who I think has just come on, I can't really see the screen, by the way, and a few other of my friends in Hong Kong have said, why don't you teach something like Italic? So I've done some upright Italic. So my Italic is done vertically. There are a number of reasons for this. Italic done vertically is much easier to learn. So I've come up with, you know, obviously I've come up with something. So I've come up with a construct that helps you to learn the script much more easily, much more readily. And we start off with a fairly simple upright version. So that's A, M, and either an N or U. And then by altering the way in which the tool works, and then altering that a little bit more, and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6. But also using rhythm. And that completely changes the way that you produce a writing structure. So this is something that I use in all of the scripts I teach. I've just worked on I've been working on something for some quadrata, showing how rhythmic values assist you in producing a shape, but also how geometric proportioning help to give you a framework to work in. So join me in Hong Kong, 1st and 2nd for Flourishing, and the 4th and 5th for Italic script. There are some other events happening in Hong Kong, which I'm not at liberty to say just yet, but I'm very, very, very excited about. I mean, really, I'm so excited I could wet myself. I am, you know, I could scream, I'm so excited. So I also want to say thank you to Rhodia for putting up with me for 2 days. I went to the Rhodia head office to play with paper, which was a kid in a candy store is an understatement. And some of the new stuff they have coming out is truly, truly amazing. So, you know, I'm so excited I can't even string a sentence together. So join me in Hong Kong, and I might go to Taipei just to possibly see some people and go to the night market and eat, obviously, you know, because I don't travel to teach, I actually travel to eat. So let's have a quick look at this construct. So we can see that this is here, and this is here, and this is here. So we have, you know, if you are going to do a geometric construct, do the construction like you are writing the flourish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You know, I was teaching in Dallas, and some of the students in Dallas said to me, "You're always counting." The reason I count is by counting aloud, it slows you down. So if you were doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you could never produce these lines straight, and you could never produce them as slowly as I'm producing them. So by using this principle of tangential touching, it really helps you to plot where the flourish is based. But it also helps you, and remember, always look beyond the flourish. Always look beyond the letter. There is always an overarching or an all-encompassing construct that is beyond the structure, that helps to hold the energy of the structure. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And once you start looking at the grid, it's a little bit off here, but once you start looking at the grid, I'm not asking you to change the way that you flourish. All I'm asking you is to understand that there is geometry. Once you tell your brain that there's geometry, it gives you a construct to work within, hence angular confinement. By confining the construct, it stops it from getting too wild. That doesn't mean to say that it changes it so much that it's not a natural flourish. So I'm going to show you one more thing. I just need to move the phone. Okay. I just need to, I didn't intend on doing this. Oh, okay, so when I was at IAMPA, and thank you, John Neal, for an absolutely phenomenal time at IAMPA. Debbie Bloomingquill for for asking me to come and teach at IAMPA. And it was great seeing Susan Cunningham, and it was such a joy to see everybody. So thank you so much, so many of you who came up to me and chatted with me. And really big thanks to John Neal and Quiliro for letting me play with these colors. Whilst playing with the colors, and of course Nick Peng for some fabulous ruling pen tools. Whilst playing with the colors, and sitting there and testing different materials, I started to look at this thing that I look at in the manual called continuous movement. Continuous movement and variable velocity. Sorry, there's a ton of chalk on the floor. Continuous movement and variable velocity are two facets of the fourfold symmetry. They don't just apply to copperplate script. So a simple flourish. Now I might be out of the shot for a little bit of this, but look at my hand, don't look at me. So I'm generating the movement. You ever wondered how the English writing masters produce the kinds of flourishes they produce when you have these really big flourishes, lots of little bits of flourish? Those are not lots of lines making up a flourish. That's one line making one big flourish. But what you have to do is you have to split the flourish into something that I call a trace, which is a movement along a path in the air, and a mark, which is a deposition of pigment on a surface. So by keeping the movement and keeping the momentum, notice I'm sort of doing this. And I know you think, oh yeah, but I'm working this big. It's still a slow rhythmic process. If you try to make the flourish too quickly, the tool does not have the time to make the shape. So by keeping this rhythm going, okay, fine, I'm using chalk, you could quite easily have an open mouth jar that's big enough for an oblique holder as well. Working, go to the jar and dip and flick and come back to the shape and go back into it. So, you know, don't think that you're going 1, 2, 3, and then, oh, I'm running out of ink. Dip, dip, or wipe. You wipe off all the ink. Then you go back at this. There's no flow to the movement. And obviously, you know, again, you know, if you really wanted to, we could deconstruct this shape. So this starts to move around, and you know, it's just trying to see the geometry beyond it. Like I said, I'm not expecting you to give up the fact that you feel that flourishing is more intuitive. Once you know that there is an underlying geometric structure, it helps to make the flourish a little bit more present. Okay, so don't forget, Hong Kong in December. The Eventbrite pages are up. I got a couple of emails from people saying, when's Hong Kong happening? And so I thought, oh, I'll just do the Eventbrite links. I did the links on Sunday, because obviously, you know, I came into the studio on Sunday. I did the links on Sunday, and as soon as I posted them on Eventbrite, I didn't tell anybody. I started to see people booking classes, so I then had to tell everybody, oh my gosh, don't forget to book classes. The Italic script will be really great. If you do any wedding calligraphy, it's a really, really good hand to add to your skill set. If you want to learn it from a handwriting point of view, it's a super hand to learn as a handwriting structure, because of course you have a monoline version, you also have a broad edge version, which you get tons of beautiful fountain pens with snub nibs or the little broad edge tips. Or you can use a dip pen, or you could use a quill. Now I am going to demonstrate with different tools. I'll show you how to do it with a brush, a large flat brush, and obviously I will show you how I use Zig Posterman markers, you know, the big 50 ones that I tend to use when I do windows and mirrors and that kind of thing. So Flourishing on the 1st and 2nd, and Italic script on the 4th and 5th. And I will post more about the other events when I actually get permission to do so. Thank you very much. Obviously I'll do another post and probably make a clip from this. If you have any questions, email me at thestudio@pascribe.com or send me a direct message. But I look forward to seeing you guys there. Okay, bye. Have a good evening.